Hi guys, it's me, Julia, and welcome back to... It's not a vlog today, it's going to be kind of experience story time of my first year at university. So, disclaimer real quick, I go to the University of Edinburgh. The year I'm going to talk about was first year, but for me, it wasn't last year. For me, first year was 2018 to 2019, basically, that school year. I divided this video in several topics and everything because, I don't know, there's like so much to talk about like an experience of like moving to another country, and starting uni is pretty like a big step in someone's life. So before actually starting classes, obviously people settle down, like people move to accommodations, people drive with their parents, people take flights and everything. In my case, I didn't have to take flights, but a flight. I was very fortunate to have like a very like small flight to take. I was really excited. I actually vlogged this like kind of arrival. It's not even the week I vlogged, it was just like me preparing for... I didn't prepare in a few days, like in the video you see me prepare over a few days, but actually I remember packing my bags way early. I was done with high school and I started to pack my bags. I think I just sat my exams, which for the French baccalaureate it's like early, no, it's like, yeah, the end of June, and then you get your results like the weekday that is closest to the 5th of July. So it's way early, but anyways, I started to pack even before the 5th of July. I remember IKEA trip, everything. I was so excited. I got so much things that I didn't need. I thought about everything I was buying, so I thought about every single thing, and I was like, oh, I might need that, I might need this and stuff. In the end, did I need everything? No, but was it like too much of unnecessary expenses? It was okay as a whole. I think it was really okay. It was just like a lot of stuff, and I just when I was like packing for my shoes, I literally at home took a freaking box and put all of my shoes in it, and I was like, actually, do I need certain things? No, I don't need everything. But anyways, packing for me is never really stressful. Now that I go back to uni, I am in the third year now. Every time I go back to uni, the same airport, the same flight, every time I know what to bring, and I'm used to everything. But the first time was really interesting, and yeah, it was really exciting times. When I came to settle in, I moved to Beaverbank place. If you've never heard about that and you go to the Uni of Edinburgh, it's far. I met other people that went to Beaverbank, and like how you guess they are living in Beaverbank or used to live in Beaverbank, it's we say it all the time, like, oh my god, it's like 40 minutes away, it's her hill to go to uni. Yeah, we hear it a lot. It's not like, oh yeah, I went to Beaverbank. No, you hear, oh yeah, on first year I was actually far from everyone, and you're like, oh wait, how far? And if people say 40 minutes, you know where that is. It's Beaverbank. I'm pretty sure like Addington Place is closer to campus, to George Square, than Beaverbank. It's just so far away. But you know, we've got Tesco Superstore. We're not super far from New Haven. I mean, you take a path and then you go to the sea, but it's actually New Haven, so you're like, oh, okay. But actually we're not far from the ocean. It's pretty cool, and it's generally a quiet area. It's pretty cool to live there because it's quiet, and if you live in the morning, you're going to live with people going to work and students going to school and everything. It's not like bustling, I guess. Anyways, I loved it there. There were a lot of things, you know, like anyone walking into the corridor of my flat, I would hear it. And something I don't have here, that moved through different holes. I remember that the light of the corridor, you could see it underneath the fire door of the actual room. You could see it. So if it was pitch dark and you were still awake, and then someone walks into the corridor first, you hear everything, including the steps, and you see the light. So yeah, it didn't wake me up, but like it was always something to remember. And funny fact, I had a flatmate that had a long coat, and that flatmate would walk down the corridor and you'll hear the coat against the wall. So you'll hear like in the middle of the night. It was pretty creepy if you didn't know what that was. Anyways, yeah, it wasn't the cleanest of flats, I think, because we were 5 people. Even though the kitchen was so big, we only had one microwave, one sink. It's usually like this, and yeah, at times it got pretty dirty, and I would say half of the flat, and we were 5 people. Yeah, we were like 2 people that knew how to clean, and one person that didn't really know, but we could teach that person to clean. So it was not the cleanest of flats, but it was really okay because we were a quiet flat, meaning there was never parties or whatever. It was like we celebrated 2 birthdays literally, I think, in the year. But yeah, people were just like generally quiet. We wouldn't necessarily eat together, so like I remember just going back to my room, but I didn't feel very sad about just going back to my room to eat. It's just like how things were. Most people in the flat, like if the kitchen was empty, that person would cook and then eat in the kitchen. But if their kitchen was, if people were here, sorry, they'll just eat in their room, which is not something I do now, but I used to do it a lot. It was not because I didn't like the people living with me, because I was okay with people living with me. They were pretty chill. One of them was exactly studying the same program as me. So when we met on social media and we are like, oh, what do you study? I was like, oh my god, we studied the same thing. So we would every morning go to class together, and I think that really helped me because it was like far away. So we would take the bus usually. So we had rider cards. If you don't know what that is, it's just the card buses, and you recharge it every month. Yeah, every 4 weeks. And then yeah, we had that. It was pretty fun because I had a friend from the get-go, so we would meet on campus and everything, and I knew most of the people I was going to study with. So basically we had this group chat for our program, and we had it since probably May of the last year of high school for all of us nearly. So we knew each other from the get-go. So when I walked into the lecture, yeah, I was sat only with my friend, but I remember that other person. I talked to her on Facebook, and then, oh yeah, he's named this in the group chat, and like I would recognize people. So I would say like a good thing you can do before moving in is, one, join the group chat for your accommodation. That is one as well, because you can find your flatmates with that. And then join the group chat for your program. And maybe it's even more important to join, like, do the program thing, because even if you live alone, you're scared, and you're like, I wasn't really scared, but like you don't really want to leave your room in Freshers Week. That happens to me as well. Sorry. But yeah, like when you know people you're going to go to school with, once you go to the lecture, you have eye contact with people, and they know who you are, and you know who they are. And if you want to ever talk to them, you just go to them, hey, and you have their name. But when you walk into a lecture, you don't know anyone, and most people walk into lectures without knowing anyone. But group chats are really useful. So it's like my take on this is like, join as many group chats as you can. Before I'm going on with my first lectures, one thing I did that was remarkable on Freshers Week is like I went to the principal's welcome. If you're from Edinburgh, you may know what that is. It's basically the principal saying hello to everyone, that has joined the uni. So you have people that just joined. I think it's more for freshers. I don't remember seeing over years. I'm pretty sure it's just like freshers, like first years, and then postgrads as well, maybe. It's just like a big reunion of like the principal and yeah, him and like other academic stuff, and that's it. And it was really remarkable because I remember the words, not the exact words obviously, but it was like, welcome, you've won your chance to study here, you've already been through a lot, you know, and this experience is going to shape you for the future. And it's like, obviously you go into uni, obviously the uni experience will shape you for the future because you take years to complete a uni degree. So people have various experiences with uni, but on the whole it just changed people's lives, you know, like it could be positive, it could be negative anyways, but it's just how it happens. Anyway, so I remember being like, oh my god, I'm happy to be here because yeah, it's a pretty good uni, and I've won my right to study here and to stay here. So like I was really happy basically. I remember my first lecture was on Monday, and it wasn't for my major core course like my program. It was for one of my electives that I hated. I'm not going to say like which class is it because I'm pretty sure it's still going on, so I don't want to say it, but basically it was a philosophy course. But basically I didn't really like it. Now it's just going to be me spilling the tea about my philosophy course. Let me tell you what I did and then I'll tell you why I did it. So I deliberately didn't go to lectures 3 times a week for many reasons, but I skipped 3 lectures a week for 6 weeks. Yeah, something like 6 weeks. Deliberately, when I knew far too well, like, yeah, I knew it. They were not recorded. And we didn't get the PowerPoint before 14, 15 days afterwards because they would just forget about it. Why did I skip the lectures anyways? First of all, 9 a.m. Second of all, Gordon Aikman Lecture Theatre. Third of all, the freaking course director at that time was absolutely and didn't clearly mark me in her class. But I would still go to tutorials. Why? Because tutorials were discussions. But let me tell you, I didn't know what was happening ever. It was funny at times, but at other times I was like, what should I do? Because the assessment was the following: one essay, like a midterm essay, and then an end of semester thing, which was like online even during like the week of revision. We basically had something like a PDF being released, and us, I think it was like 2 essays of 1,000 words plus like 5 short answers questions, I think, that we needed to answer. It was really annoying. I had one of my friends, taking that same course the year afterwards, and I was like, I'm so sorry, girl. I'm so sorry for you. I've been through this as well. Because philosophy in that on that course basically was just like discussion. I would just Google everything. I did write my things by myself. I did not copyright any single thing. I did not use copy and paste. What I did is just like Google every single thing. It was like, do you agree with whatever person's maxim about this subject? And I'll be looking at like, okay, I know who is this person by name, but I'm going to Google that person. Secondly, I'm going to just Google the maxim, make up my mind on it, and just write. It was absolutely, I've written worse essays than philosophy essays. Yeah, I know, it's really bad, but my philosophy essays were not really great. I kind of struggled to make sense of what I was saying because I didn't understand the material and I didn't know how to think about the subject that was asked, and it was like a pretty weird subject as well, and I didn't know how to explain it, so I was really struggling sometimes. But I passed it pretty average, like less than 50%. I was like, okay, I just get my 40%. I'm a first year, I don't care. I didn't care about philosophy, I cared about other stuff, but at this point, no. 3 lectures, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and 9 a.m.s, Gordon Aikman Lecture Theatre, and not recorded. We couldn't hear lectures, even being there. I went there for a few weeks, you know, I still went there. But what happened was the course director didn't want anyone using a computer in the front half of the lecture theatre. Gordon Aikman Lecture Theatre, pretty average. No, it's pretty shit, because you don't get to have tables. It's really annoying. I think no one really likes this lecture theatre. I think everyone just like wishes for another one. Nobody likes this one. It's where every protest happen, so it's a pretty interesting and important place, but that lecture theatre as a lecture theatre is not really good. Anyways, we have good ones, so can we complain about it? Maybe not. So yeah, the course director didn't want anyone that was writing notes on pretty iPads as well, but like on computers, to be sat in the front half of the room. If you were at the back of the room, you were at the top of the room. So once I go with my computer, she says, oh no, computer, you don't do anything else on it. Did I do anything else on my computer than just have a white page of me typing notes? Absolutely not. Was I going to mess around on my computer the first week of uni? No. So I was absolutely only taking notes. Anyways, the second week she comes in the meantime, we had other lectures that were not taught by her. She comes back second or third week, and then she puts something on the PowerPoint saying no computer, with like a lot of exclamation points. No computers in the front half of the freaking room. I thought I was going to get away with it because some people were next to me and they were like, I'm not moving and stuff. What did they do? One girl moved and another girl took a freaking pen. She was scared. So yeah, and then she looked at me, and I know I was 17 years old at that time because I hadn't turned 18 yet. But me being younger, does it make it like acceptable for you to just like scream at me? No. She freaking screamed at me. Cool, okay, do whatever. Like, I'm being screamed at. I'm just going to get mad, but because of my like how I am, I won't get mad at your face. I'll get mad at your face on this video and not in real life. So, but anyway, she looks at me and she's like, move. I'm like, I look at the other girl that wanted to move, kind of. I close my computer, we both move. I find another place. Yeah. And as well, she was getting mad at people sitting on the sides of certain rows because she was like, if people walk in, they were not going to be able to sit. So if people are late, they're going to have to make everyone move so they can sit somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, I do understand, but do you understand, like, it's like halfway through the lecture and it's really like a break through the lecture. We just like, we want to concentrate. And also like when I would sit down at the back of the room, I did it twice, I think, and then I just stopped going to lectures altogether. I couldn't hear her very well. It was really not cool because I couldn't hear very well. I don't have any problems with my hearing. It's just like people were just like, did you know what she said just now? Like, can you repeat it? Do you know? And it was like pretty not very organized. In linguistics, first year courses, like the first few weeks as well, it was so organized, and like I was like, oh my god, this is so great, I'm so interested. Meanwhile, philosophy was just like, what I'm going to say is very important, and then like you get like points on the PowerPoint that are not related, and I'm like, what? I was really lost. And English not being my first language, I struggled a little bit at the start because it was just not making any sense to me. She would just say random sentences. I would be able to interpret these sentences in my mother tongue, but I was like, how does it relate to the subject? But tutorials were just like discussions. A lot of the times I would just take a bus to uni and I would read the tutorial material, which you had to read. You had some reading to do. It was not very long. You had some reading to do. I never did it. And then I would make up my mind on the subject and I would just, it's not even ranting at this point. It's just like going to the tutorial, sorry, and you pair it up with someone and you so what I would do is like if I couldn't make up my mind, I would just like be in a group and like I will wait until someone speaks, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I didn't know how to put it, but I agree with you. But I don't know, I kept going to the tutorials because the tutor I was assigned to for the tutorials in philosophy was amazing. She was dynamic, she was kind and everything. One week I couldn't attend for like medical reasons, and she was like, oh my god, I hope you're okay. And when I came back the next week, she was like, oh, are you okay now? She was really nice and stuff. She helped actually, and I don't know, we could just approach her. She was approachable. What I understood from that course was because I understood what she said. We would have discussions and then she would like, okay, can each, like one person of each group just say to me the answer you thought of for that question, and then like she would explain it, she will rephrase it, and I will take notes and I will actually understand a little bit. Yeah, anyways, about linguistics, it was just perfect. Because I'm still studying it, I feel weird being like, oh my god, that teacher was amazing. I will do a video when I'm done with my program about the lectures at Edinburgh University, because some of them, if not most of them, are just amazing, and like It's really great anyways. In first year you get your hands in you get your hands dirty in phonetics because you put your hands in your mouth. Phonetics is basically phones, so sounds you produce basically, and it's like recognizing the phones. Everyone pretty much, you take other programs in the world, phonetics is a key part, and phonetics is often taught at the start or at the very start or whatever. After the description of the word linguistics and what it means to be a linguist, because it's unclear for some people, so we might as well just learn it the first lecture so that we can explain to our parents what the hell we're doing and why it is super cool. So yeah, I mean, linguistics was very different and I loved it. And also, I didn't really care a lot about philosophy because it was an outside course. And the other course that I had was Norwegian. Norwegian being a language I was never exposed to. I had heard a little bit of Swedish, and I'm pretty sure I had never heard Norsk ever before actually starting the lessons, which is perfectly fine. Like, you can learn a language that you were never exposed to. It's me going to be like a bit different and stuff, but just go for it. It was really fun, but everyone was just in that class was just so nice. Like, it was a really good class for the whole year. Like, we were maybe not all friends, but because it was a classroom setting, we would know each other, and it was pretty cool. I have nothing to say about that specifically. It was just like getting harder and harder because I was not working enough. I was not revising enough in Norwegian, but I still passed. And yeah, it was pretty cool to have a classroom setting because it did not feel like uni. It felt like a weird tutorial thing where it was like really like a class, but it was pretty fun. So I would recommend, if you don't know what to do for an outside course, just go for a language. Maybe Norwegian is not the easiest one, but it's pretty cool. In semester 2, my Norwegian class was basically all year, and linguistics was two semester long ones, but it's like a core thing. And so in semester 2, I was supposed to take history. Mind you, history at Edinburgh, you need to take what is called like historian's toolkit, and people hate it. So I heard that people hated that course. I never did it, so I was like, So I signed up for it, and then I was like, maybe not. So I switched, and I was like, actually, I can do Foundation Korean 1 in semester 2. So I did that, and I was accepted. Like, there's a waiting list even. I think there's a waiting list that is like as big as the classroom was, I think, at that time. It was so fun. I absolutely loved Korean. It was really fun. It's a language I've been exposed to for many years. Not every day though, but I'm pretty exposed to it through TV shows, K-dramas, and everything. I only knew a few words, but in that classroom, let me tell you that everyone was a K-pop fan, so everyone knew how to say "사랑해." So that was pretty fun. Yeah, it was like a classroom with activities. The girl doing that at the time was like she's still Korean, so she was really fun and stuff. It was strict in a way, so if you didn't revise at all or didn't do the exercises, you wouldn't get caught out for it, but you get interrogated. Basically, they say like, hey, can you respond to this question? And if you don't know, you struggle, and she quickly passes to someone else. So some lessons, sorry, maybe a little bit uncomfortable if I didn't spend a lot of hours revising, which everyone should. But it was really fun. It was really fun, and we finished the whole book. Like, I don't have it here because it's probably at home, but a notebook from Sogongdae학교, so like the University of Sogong in Korea, which is like a very good uni. It's like a A1 to A2 notebook. So we had the textbook and the notebook. No, the textbook and the exercise book. It was a lot of pages. I don't remember how much, but basically we had to finish it in one semester. So we did, and we were graded 20% of the, about 20% of I think attendance counted as well. We had an exam which was easier than I expected, and then attendance was counting 10%, and 20% was the completion of exercise books. So we had to finish it and we had to deliver it on time. So, but she warned us from the start that we needed to finish everything, so we shouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'll do it before the deadline, because some people just found themselves just rushing through completing everything before the deadline because of it. But it was a pretty cool idea, but we had to be on it all the time. Oh, what I found really fun was that, really fun, maybe not. My very last exam was on the last, I don't remember which day it was, but it was the last scheduled day. Like the exam season goes from one end to one end. And our Norwegian exam fell on the last day of that exam period and in the afternoon. So clearly it was the exam, the latest exam ever. There couldn't be another exam after that. So we did it. I found it a little bit hard. I was like, I hope I can have 40. I think I did. I don't remember, but I passed the course anyway, so it was pretty cool. So when we took the exam, so stressed, but when we came out of the exam, like, we were free. We were free. It was really good. So yeah, and we went out. I remember it was like one of the foyer rooms under my key one. So it's actually it's actually underneath Mackim Hall, on the side of it. So the windows we get are just next to the wall of Mackie One. Kind of Mackie One is here, and then you have the ground, and then you have like a window thing, and we're underneath that. So for the entire exam, we could hear the skaters on Bristol Square. Thank you guys. It didn't distract us very much. I think we all remember it, but it was okay in the end. But why though? We were just like, it wasn't quiet as a room. Anyways, but at the end, we came out of the exam. We came out of the exam, and like there were some staff members, and they clapped in their hands like, "Well done, girls," because I was with girlfriends. And yeah, it was pretty fun to be congratulated because we sat an exam on the last scheduled day. So anyways, that is it for the academic part. Oh my god, I ranted so much. This video is going to be so long. I apologize in advance to me for editing it and to you for watching it. So if I had a piece of advice for my past self in first year, and for you if you're going to first year, or if you're just like, I don't know, going to uni in a few years, work, like study, please study. I don't know, I got away with not studying very much. That is being said, I was not studying very much, but I was still keeping up with things. Philosophy, I just told you about like how I wouldn't really study a lot, but I understood what was going on. I scraped a 40. I think I had 44 in the end. It was like dangerous, you know. Norwegian, I wish I had studied more. At least I was going to every single class, and I was participating in group things when they were group things to do and everything. And just like linguistics, I just still studied because it's interesting. I would make study material, revision, whatever. But I think I just stayed in my room a lot of the time without even thinking about it. For me, my outing was going to lectures, and then so often, because it's downwards, I would go home to Beaverbank walking, because 40 minutes walking doesn't feel the same, you know. So I would walk back to Beaverbank, and I would just settle on my computer all the time. And I remember, if I look at Netflix, the stats part, I binge watched Full House. Fuller House was not finished, but I still watch it. I rewatch a lot of K-dramas that I had already seen. I binge watched Community on Netflix and All For, I think. There was a lot of things I binge watched, and I'm pretty much like a huge consumer of YouTube. I don't regret what I did, but I would prefer to have done it differently, to have like studied a little bit more, because my grades were not okay, and because of my grades I was not able to, I was able to apply, but I was not able to go abroad for third year, which is now. My study abroad would have been cancelled because of the COVID situation, obviously. But I applied and I wanted to go there, but I couldn't. So that was sad. Anyways, so if I had better grades, I would have applied to go to the US. So if my grades were higher, I would have applied to university-wide exchanges. Um, it was just much more exciting, but you know, it's life. Anyways, I hope you like this video. I'll come back to make a video about my second year experience, and my second year experience was last year, so 19/20 school year, and yeah, it was cut short because of COVID-19, so my semester 2 was basically cut in half. I hope it's not the case for my third year that I'm going to start in a week. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you guys around.